All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, as you know, Kanye West's name is hot on a lot of people's tongues because of him and Candace being in Paris, having the White Lives Matter shirt on. But he did a sit down with Tucker Carlson, and in this particular clip, it's titled "Yay on Being a Christian in Liberal-Dominated Music and Fashion Industry." So we're gonna get into this conversation and see what he's talking about, him and Tucker. Now, before I start the video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe while you watch it and enjoying this with me. Now, let's get into it.
It drove me crazy to not be able to say that I like Trump. Because think about it, it's me. Imagine me not being able to say what I wanted. What was the point of being famous? What was the point of having, millions of people love your music? What was the point of having a voice if you can't even use your own voice and connect it to your own opinions?
Yes.
That's where the disconnect happened. That's where the, quote, I think wrongly diagnosed, that's where the bipolarity is. Because you got something you're thinking, but you're told you're not allowed to say it.
Sometimes when Tucker's listening to people talk, he just looks like, what are you saying? But Kanye, he is a bit hard to follow at times.
You're thinking, but you're told you're not allowed to say it in public. Well, I never actually told people that I liked Trump when he was running because I was bullied by Hollywood. Because I stayed in Hollywood and people were like, think about your kids, and I'm trying to hold on to the marriage, so I'm just biting my tongue. Like, there's so many fathers and mothers.
Okay, so it makes sense, right? A lot of people think Kanye is crazy, but to call someone crazy, you gotta put yourselves in their shoes, right? And luckily, Kanye, he's a public figure, so we can, although we don't know what it's like to be Kanye, we don't know everything about his life. We know a lot about his life. Kanye has always been an outspoken person. Ever since George Bush, Taylor Swift, you name it, Kanye has always been an outspoken person. And so for him walking around every day, not able to speak his mind, it had to feel like he was just like trapped, or like, you know what I'm saying? It had to be tough for him. So, when he lashed out or whatever, and he had his little moments that happened not too long ago, or a few years back, and everybody was judging him, calling him crazy and this and this, or just when everyone calls him crazy, it's like, this is what he's dealing with. He dealing with being in industries where nobody really accepts his views, and he just gotta stay hush hush about it. That's tough for somebody like him.
Others that go to work every day and they're in a situation where they're biting their tongue because they think it will be better for their children.
That's right.
So even me in my position, I was biting my tongue on my political opinion because I thought it would be better for my children. And now you look up and my kids are going to a school that teaches black kids a complicated Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa doesn't, so they don't teach even Christmas itself, Christ Mass. They don't teach it at Sierra Canyon. And what they do is take all of the celebrities, the actors, the basketball players, and they throw them in this one school and they indoctrinate the kids. So my son's psalm is brilliant. So right now, they're looking to figure out how to indoctrinate him to make him be another part of the system. I have a choir at my school, so right now we've come to a compromise, but I'm not finished because I don't compromise, but we come to a compromise when my kids go to my school after school and they learn choir. I sat there with my son and he came and he said, why do I need to sing? I don't even go to your school. So imagine the 16-year-old version of that guy, the 26-year-old version of that guy, where the father doesn't have say-so of what the kids are watching, what the kids are wearing, what the kids are eating, who the kids are hanging out with. Ray Kurzweil said, we have the information needed to have a human utopia, but we're led by the least noble, most greedy people.
Okay, look, I could have stopped this a lot earlier, but Kanye was cooking. I wanted to let him get his thoughts off, and I mean, just, I agree with what he's talking about right there. And he also gave us some gems, a little bit of information, now you could take that information and do with it as you please. He said that they take the basketball players, the actors, the famous people, they put their kids in the same schools and they try to indoctrinate them. If you could believe that if you want. I personally, I think I could believe it. I could definitely believe it, because these are these for sure will be some of the most influential kids. So they want to get to them early and control. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense to me.
There's a solution that can bring happiness to so many more people. I even had this idea about, the connection of big pharma to farms by having localized farms. With more localized farms, you can use less pesticides. If you have less pesticides, then you have less diseases. And have big pharma invest in the local farms, and they'll actually make more money. I'm not one of the people that go up and say, hey, I want to stop anybody from making money. The people that make money and the powers that be, I am your true Nikola Tesla. And I'm not even a scientist.
What do you think of Elon Musk? Do you know him?
Very well.
What's your take on him?
You said that because I said Tesla?
I did, yeah. It's just the first thing that popped.
And that everyone's always like, oh, Elon's got these answers. I think he's a great team player. Like I said about Ray Kurzweil and Utopia. In Rome, they would bring all the most brilliant people and have them sit down to the point where their seats had a toilet in them. Like, people would not even get up to use the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And they would ideate about what society needed. And they'd invent new things, and they'd put it all up on the wall. And Donda, before it was a school, is a design firm. And what I would do is pull together all my favorite thinkers, and we'd invent. That's why I was happy that you saw two of the inventions right there. Because now it's like, if I had said that before you drank the coffee, and some might joke and say you're drinking the Kool-Aid, but before you drank the coffee and before you saw the 3D printed boot, zero waste 3D printed boot, if I said Nikola Tesla, you'd probably, you could have smugged that off.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Kanye is a little bit hard to follow. It's like when he's talking to people in conversations, he almost seems a little bit disconnected, and he just like speaking his thoughts kind of like out loud like this. You know what I'm saying? So it can be a little bit hard to follow, but I like what he's saying. And he seems to be doing a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he got a lot going on, dealing with Kim Kardashian, children with Kim Kardashian. I couldn't imagine. So he must be going through a lot, but he seems to be doing better for sure.
I think it's insane for an administration to not use a talent like Elon Musk more. Like, if I was in or once I am, I will eventually be president before, in my lifetime. But if I was in the
Y'all thought Kanye was joking. He's seriously running for president.
In office right now, I'd be calling Elon every day. I'd have him sleeping in the White House. I'd say, how do we use our platform as the most influential, that's a Freudian slip, the most influential country in the world, to show the rest of the world how to live a simplified life. But our country is under attack, and media.
That's how it feels.
And industries outside of our country.
And I'm sorry to cut him off, but it's interesting that it feels like our country is under attack, no matter if you're on the left or the right. But depending on what information you take in and who you listen to, the attack will be your perception of the attack will be coming from two different sides. It's crazy.
Are doing anything to keep it as it was, and everyone's just afraid. God is love, and I understand I come off scary sometimes because I'm like, I'm gonna protect my kids, I'm gonna protect my reputation, I'm gonna protect my brand, And there's times when you have to pull the guns out. You have to pull the swords out. You have to have righteous indignation as a Christian for everyone that ever said, I can't get mad because I'm a Christian. As a Christian, it's like, yeah.
I don't understand how you can work and be so successful and influential in the music business and the fashion industry, the two most liberal businesses probably in the world, as a professing Christian with a pro-life badge on. How does that work?
I always think, whenever God allows a brilliant idea to channel through me and allows me to somehow, take credit.
Just to answer Tucker's question real quick, and I'll rewind that so we don't, pick up leaving off things. I think that Kanye started off his career. It was just perfect, because when he started off his career, being a Christian wasn't a right-wing considered thing. It was different back then. Kanye laid a lot of groundwork up until this point to be able to do things and people to go against the grain, and people will still rock with him because it's Kanye. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Through me and allows me to somehow, take credit for it. I always snicker at the fact that with liberals, their main tool is, that they use are artists and influencers, right? But then God has the #1 artist and the #1 influencer as a conservative. So I always chuckle at that. Every time I come up with some brilliant, I'm like, could you imagine if, they could have just indoctrinated Ye? The world could have just totally been.
I'm not going to lie. That's a good point. That's a good point, because I know it's just one man, but look at the ripples he creating. I mean, the dude puts on a shirt and everybody hates him. He puts on a shirt and it makes news. So hey man, that actually makes sense. Imagine if they would have been able to silence a guy like this's voice, and imagine all of the guys who have Ye level potential, or even if it doesn't meet that. Imagine all of the men like that they silence, or women and people in general. Or that they get to believe that that they manage to get to believe that it's okay to go with the grain, don't go against the grain, don't, rely on your instincts, your true thoughts, just do what we tell you. Imagine that.
Ran into the hole. And there's battles that the devil had won, but the devil's a defeated foe. Like, for me to have gone from Jesus Walks to you're such a hoe, I love it. That's that deviation from the path.
And you know what? I love that, bro. I really do love that about Kanye. The fact that he's able to call out things about himself. Like he said, from Jesus Walks to you're such a F and H. I love it. You know what I'm saying? He realizes when he makes slip ups, and he has the courage enough to call it out.
So I love that question, because every time it just tickles me, like that the very thing that liberals use the most of, they don't have the best person at it.
Do you talk to other people in your business, who are successful in the music industry, the fashion business, who secretly agree with you?
Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of fashion people. Tommy Hilfiger loved Trump. Let me see I got to think of all the other Trump. I'm not even going to use the term Trump supporter,
right? Because
why don't people say Hillary supporter or Biden supporter? This is just, yeah, there's a lot of people. You know what? People in my business who love Trump, businessmen, people who love money.
Yeah.
People who love money, people who actually like being successful, and not ran into the ground. Like, those are some of the people.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel.
Yeah, guys, that was interesting. That was an interesting conversation. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I'm sure there's a lot of people that, secretly have different views than what they put out to the world. Unfortunately for Kanye, he's more vocal, he's more seen. Not only is he in the fashion industry, he's a rapper. If you were just in the fashion industry, you can hide behind your clothes. But Kanye, he puts his voice on the mic. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot harder for him to hide. But shout out to Kanye for just standing up, man. Standing up against all of the nonsense. But that's it for the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm out, guys. Till next time. Peace.